welcome back to the channel. Today I have another piece from SEIKO, and before I get into the box I just want to show you this outer sleeve. Actually, I quite like it how it tells you it's made of wood, leather, cloth, polyurethane, paper, you know, and it's actually made in Japan rather than China. I really appreciate that little detail here. So let's just get this open and show you the box inside. So yes, it is a Prospex dive watch, and without further ado, let's open it up. SEIKO on the top there, and there's the watch sideways, which is kind of interesting actually. I quite find it quite interesting how they pack this sideways, because that's how it fits nicely into it. So without showing the watch directly first, I just want to point out the manuals as well. So Marinemaster Professional with the warranty card, and just quickly go to the second half, which is the English section. Let's just flick through a few of the details here to show you, so there's a few different versions that they cover, and they show you kind of dive, rotating bezel use, how to set day date and all that, the crown operation, as well as positioning, setting time, name of the parts, just that you look at that. So that's how a Marinemaster Professional manual looks like. I thought that was quite interesting to study actually. So showing you the watch proper itself. So this is none other than a SEIKO Prospex Marinemaster watch. This is professional 300 meter, this version, and the model number is SBBN035. So this is nicknamed the Ninja Tuna, and for obvious reasons, being that it's a black on black watch. So the MSRP on this particular piece, I think, is about 1200 USD. I can't really find that information very easily, but it's around that. Retail is around 910 USD that you can get it for, and I'll put links to sources below, along with discount codes if I can find any. So the overall Tuna design, Tuna is a nickname that is coined by fans, of course. SEIKO don't come up with this themselves. Being the shape of the case, it kind of looks like a tuna can, right? Like this kind of round tuna can shape. So this was a series that was conceived back in the 1960s, the late 1960s. SEIKO engineers received a letter from a saturation diver complaining about the failure of some of their pieces. So they took up that challenge to design the ultimate professional dive watch. In 1975, 6 or 7 years later, they released the first Tuna model as the ultimate diver, and that came up with several patents, including an L-shaped gasket, as well as a monocoque case, a one-piece case at the back, that made it impermeable to helium, so they didn't need helium release valves on their 1,000-meter divers. That's kind of part of the story, or the mythology around the Tuna models. This version is not a full, I guess, it's not a full 1,000-meter diver. It is actually a smaller version, so it's a 300-meter Quartz model. It does have a screw-in case back that you can see there. It's not a monocoque, and it does also have lugs, right? If you look at that, it doesn't have that true lugless design that is present in the larger 1,000-meter monocoque divers. But it does use a movement that debuted back in 1986, and it's such a popular and reliable movement, they still use it to this day. So the movement in here is none other than the SEIKO 7C46. It is a 7-jewel high-tech quartz movement with high torque. Apparently it has very high efficiency, and therefore it's able to survive 5 years on a single battery change. It does have day and date, which in this case is implemented on that 3 o'clock window. White writing on the black disc, so matches the dial nicely, and it does of course have hacking. The case in this version is actually 45mm in the very outer diameter of the shroud here. It's got a what SEIKO calls a super hard coating. Now I'm not really sure what that is, but I'm going to presume that it is a PVD coating of some sort rather than diamond like carbon, because I assume that you would want to say that it's DLC if it truly is DLC. In terms of sizing, the bezel is actually, of course, quite a bit smaller. It's actually 41mm at the bezel, and if you want to measure just the glass is only 31mm, so pretty almost like a normal size watch, at the glass, apart from the shroud making it much larger than than where the bezel is. Overall thickness is only 15 millimeters, so for a 47 millimeter watch, it's actually fairly proportionately. Actually, that is less than one you might expect. So 15 millimeter on thickness, and the recessed lugs that you can see there is 22 millimeters. So it is actually recessed in the sense that if you look at where the lugs are, the lug-to-lug distance is actually 45 millimeters. That's actually less than the outer diameter of the shroud, top to bottom on the case here. So that means that this is essentially a circular case. That dimension is almost the same as the top-down dimension there. The lug playing no role in making the case any taller. Overall, this watch being the silicon rubber strap watch comes in at only 124 grams, so pretty light for a very, very robust constructed watch here for this black case, solid shrouded Tuna design. The finishing is longitudinal brushing on the sides, or you can say horizontal brushing, all the way around the sides, as well as the side of the bezel. The top of the bezel itself is actually polished, that you can see there with the white lettering and numbering that you can see into the insert of the bezel. The bottom of the watch, in contrast, is actually polished, and just let you see the design of the case back here. So hopefully some of this comes true, but you can see the SEIKO divers rating there, 300 meter. You can see the caliber number. Hopefully you can read that down the bottom here, 7C46. I'll just turn it right side up for the caliber number there. Okay, made in Japan, or at least it says Japan on this location here. And then the other interesting thing is that it's actually got a battery change indicator. So if you can see the numbers on the side here, over the 22, which is on this end here, hopefully you can see there's a little dot over the 22 there, and that means that the battery change is due in 2022. That's really what that is. So it's interesting that they packed those details into the case back here. So with that screw-in case back, and of course a screw-in crown with a Prospex sign there, hopefully that you can see that Prospex X there. Overall rating, as noted at the back, is 300 meter, and it is none other than ISO 6425 divers 300 meter, of course, in this Marinemaster. The dial itself, right, let you kind of see some of the details. It is actually just a flat black dial with wholly printed details. There is not a single applied detail here, right? That day-date window as a rectangle at the 3 o'clock position, baton and arrow hands, right, and the chapter ring that is on a flange around the side of the dial. And if you look at alignment-wise, right, I think in this case there is no chapter ring or bezel alignment issues in this watch. I think this is actually a specimen that came out absolutely perfectly in terms of that alignment, which is a bit of a SEIKO bugbear. Sometimes they really have problems with the chapter ring and bezel alignments, but not in this particular specimen, right? And then if you look at the Lumi Bright, all right, hopefully you can see some of this, but there's oodles of Lumi Bright on the dial there. I mean, those dollops of lume on the hour positions, they are raised. There's a bit of a dome of lume there, and I'll put a lume shot here for you to appreciate how well this looks in the dark, and it really performs very, very well. SEIKO divers, very well known for basically beating the lume out of every other comparative watch, and this one is no exception. It is excellently performing lume in the dark. The bezel, okay, 120 click unidirectional dive bezel, of course, right? Nothing less than that. It is actually pretty soft, right? It's very easy to turn, maybe a bit too easy, but because of that shroud, it protects it from accidental turning, at least partly. All right, the insert here, I'm not really 100% sure what it is, but some sources say it's steel, so I'm going to go with the fact that it's actually a polished steel insert. That's the information I can find, but if you know better, let me know if you know this is aluminium or something else. Right, onto the glass on top. All right, let you see that clearly it is domed, and it is just Hardlex. It is not sapphire on this particular model here. Okay, double dome Hardlex glass. Moving on to the strap then. Okay, let you see that it's kind of this rubberized silicon strap. Nothing super special, but I think it is better than some of the base models. Definitely a damn sight better than, for example, the strap on my SKX, the one that my SKX came in. It's just more supple. It is got, you know, this black PVD buckle and also a, you know, a steel keeper, you know, which is another step up from, you know, I guess some base models. And it's pretty well finished actually. That you know, that brush surface with that Seiko in there. And I gotta say, the finishing on the case overall is excellent on this particular specimen. Okay, so that's really the description of the watch. You may have seen the Darth tuner, the SBBN035, and I'll try to find pictures to put a comparative view on the side here. You know, what is the difference between this and the Darth tuner? Well, the Darth tuner is actually more a full-size Marinemaster. So it is actually a 52mm titanium monocoque case with a true lugless design, if you see that watch, and it's also got a shroud that is made of ceramic rather than the steel one of the Ninja tuner. So those are the big differences. The Darth tuner also has a sapphire crystal on top, as well as mentioned a diverse 1,000 meter water rating, the more a full-size Marinemaster version. Right? That's why it costs around 30-40% more than this particular watch if you were going to go for the Darth tuner, the full size. It does have the same movement, the 7C46 Quartz movement. Okay, so in case you were wondering, those are the differences between this model and the Darth tuner model. Okay, so let's just put this on for a wrist shot now. So guys, there we have it, the Seiko SBBN035 Ninja tuner 47.5mm watch, you know, really just about 47mm tall on my 17cm wrist. Because it is effectively a recessed lug or lugless design, it actually wears okay despite being such a big watch because it doesn't overhang the wrist. That's really what the advantage of those recessed lugs are. Okay, there we go. So, you know, what is the allure of this? Well, look, I think overall it is just a no compromise, full professional diver, right? It is kind of ugly actually as you look at it, but that's because the function dictates the form of this watch. You know, it's an affordable version of the legendary full-size tuner watches, and it channels the charisma and the aura, I think, of the larger versions without being as expensive. It doesn't have the titanium, it doesn't have the ceramic and all the other features of the full tuner, but it channels a lot of the aura of the bigger version. Right, it does have the iconic, very, very well-respected 7C46 Quartz movement. So that one, you know, high quality, low energy use, and it's made to last. It's made to be serviceable, not a movement that you would just throw away. One of the most highly respected quartz movements around, as far as I have read. You know, for a three-handed with day date, as simple as that, it does get a lot of respect, I think, just reading about it as I have. And then the LumiBrite, you know, it shines on this watch like no one's business. It really is caked on very thickly, and possibly one of the best Lume watches that I have ever seen. What's, you know, things that you might take note of if you were going to choose this watch? Well, it's not quite the Legend. It's not quite the full-size 52mm tuner. Some people see it as a bit of a wannabe, maybe. You know, it doesn't have the monocoque case and all that. So you gotta take note of that. But you know, it's more affordable. It's more demure. It's quieter. So for daily diver use, maybe this is actually a better choice. The bezel feel is a bit soft. I think they could have done with a little bit, you know, more solid turning bezel. It just feels like it could do with one more pass being a little bit more firmer. But you know, that shroud protects it somewhat, so maybe it's okay. And the last thing I'll mention is it's got the Seiko concessions, right? It doesn't have ceramic anywhere in this watch. It's probably not proper DLC. They haven't said it, so it's probably just a standard PVD coating. And you know, it's got the Hardlex mineral glass. It doesn't have sapphire on this version. The full tuners do. So these are the things that I would mention to take note of if you were considering this watch. So guys, there we go. My review of the SEIKO Prospex Marinemaster Professional 300-meter Ninja tuner. Let me know what you think of this watch. And if you have any tuner models, I would love to hear your thoughts and your experiences. Guys, if you enjoy my videos, do consider subscribing. I put out new content every week, always aiming to be objective and unbiased about all things horology. Thank you again for sticking with me, and as always, I'll catch you guys next time.